There's a paradox that defines our time. We live in an age where we can photograph the shadow of a black hole, a gravitational abyss 55 million light years away. Yet we struggle to see the suffering in the eyes of someone standing right next to us. We've learned to bend space-time, but not always our own habits. We decode the birth of galaxies, yet remain uncertain about the meaning of our own. And so tonight, I want to talk to you about the most mysterious objects in the universe, not just because they devour light and warp time, but because within their darkness, they may hold the ultimate key to creation itself. Because perhaps black holes don't only destroy worlds, perhaps they make them. Think about it. A star dies, collapses under its own weight, and instead of fading quietly, it tears a hole in the very fabric of reality. To our physics, that sounds like a tragedy. But to the cosmos, it might be a kind of childbirth. When a star becomes a black hole, all its matter is crushed into a singularity, an infinitely dense point where our equations simply stop. It's where gravity wins, where space and time bow their heads, where every physical law we've ever known, relativity, quantum mechanics, thermodynamics, throws up its hands and says, "I don't know what happens next," quote. And yet, some cosmologists dare to ask, what if what happens next is another universe? Now, before we leap into that idea, let's take a step back, because the story of black holes is really the story of human imagination. For centuries, we believed light was the fastest thing in existence. Nothing could catch it, nothing could trap it. And then along came Einstein. He showed us that gravity doesn't just pull on matter, it pulls on the geometry of the universe itself. Space tells matter how to move, and matter tells space how to curve. And in that cosmic dance, a black hole is born when the curvature becomes so extreme that not even light can escape its embrace. That's where things get strange. At the edge of a black hole lies the event horizon, a point of no return. Cross it, and you're gone from this universe's story. But what if that's not the end of the narrative? What if it's a door? Imagine it falling into a black hole. You wouldn't be torn apart, immediately contrary to what Hollywood might tell you. If the black hole were massive enough, you'd drift across the event horizon, feeling almost nothing unusual. But as you approach this singularity, space-time itself stretches you thinner and thinner, until you become a filament of information, encoded in the very curvature of the universe. Your atoms, your memories, your story become part of space-time's script. Now here's where it gets thrilling. Some physicists, people like Lee Smolin, Nikodem Popovsky, and others have proposed an idea called cosmological natural selection. They suggest that every black hole might spawn a new universe on the other side of its singularity. That means, in some deep cosmic sense, black holes could be the wombs of new realities. Our universe could itself be the offspring of another, birthed from the gravitational collapse of a star in a parent cosmos. Think about the poetry of that for a moment. Inside every ending, a beginning. Inside every act of destruction, creation. The cosmos recycles not only atoms and energy, but perhaps entire universes. If that's true, then black holes aren't just the cemeteries of stars, they are the seed vaults of existence. When you stare at an image of a black hole, like the one captured by the Event Horizon Telescope, you're looking at the edge of knowledge itself. It's a photograph of mystery, a cosmic mirror reflecting both our greatest achievement and our greatest ignorance. And that mirror doesn't just show us the universe, it shows us, because black holes test the limits of what we can know, what we can imagine, and what we can become. When I think about that, I'm reminded of a simple truth. The boundary of a black hole and the boundary of human understanding are the same thing. Both are horizons we dare to cross. You see, the deeper we study black holes, the more they turn our understanding of reality inside out. When Stephen Hawking first dared to calculate what happens at their edges, he discovered something astonishing. Black holes aren't completely black. They glow, ever so faintly, through a quantum process at the event horizon, pairs of particles flicker in and out of existence, one falling in, the other escaping out. That escape steals a sliver of the black hole's energy, causing it to radiate, to slowly evaporate over unimaginable spans of time. Think about what that means. A black hole, the ultimate trap, the eater of stars, can leak energy, release information, and eventually die. It's not eternal. It's not absolute. Even the darkest things in the universe lose a little of themselves to the light. That realization changed physics forever. It showed us that information, the fundamental currency of reality, cannot be truly destroyed. Somehow, everything that falls into a black hole leaves a trace, encrypted in the faint whispers of its radiation. That's what we call the information paradox, and it's more than a technical puzzle. It's a philosophical revelation, because it tells us that even when something disappears from sight, the universe remembers. You, me, the stars, all of it, are written into the memory of space-time itself. Now, let's zoom out for a moment. The same laws that describe a black hole also describe the universe itself. If you were to run the universe backward, rewinding cosmic history to its origin, the expansion would reverse. The galaxies would draw together, and everything, every particle, every atom, every photon would compress into a single point of infinite density. Sound familiar? That's the Big Bang. So here's the wild idea. What if the Big Bang wasn't the beginning of everything, but the birth of a new universe through the death of another? What if our own cosmic dawn is the outflow of some distant black hole collapse where time in that universe ended, but in ours began? If that's true, then the cosmos is not a singular event, it's a lineage, an endless family tree of universes, each born through the gravitational wombs of black holes, each carrying subtle variations in their physical constants. A little more gravity here, a little less electromagnetism there. And just as in biological evolution, those universes whose constants favor the formation of stars and thus black holes would reproduce more often. It's cosmic natural selection. The universe itself evolving to create universes. That, to me, is breathtaking, because it implies that even in the cold, indifferent math of physics, there is a kind of creativity, an emergent pattern of self-propagation. Not consciousness in the way we know it, but something profoundly lifelike. The cosmos doesn't just exist, it reproduces. And if that's true, then what does that make us creatures who evolved within one of these universes, conscious enough to look back and wonder how it all began? We are the cosmos reflecting on its own fertility. We are the self-aware offspring of a process so ancient, so vast, that it transcends even our definitions of life and death. Now, the skeptics will ask, reasonably, where's the evidence? And they're right to ask. Science is not built on what feels poetic. It's built on what can be tested. But remember, every major discovery in our history began as a question that seemed absurd. Black holes themselves were once dismissed as mathematical curiosities, impossible in nature. Then, in 1971, we found the first one, Cygnus X1, a tiny invisible monster orbiting a bright star, its gravity so intense that it siphoned off gas from its companion, heating it until it glowed in X-rays. And suddenly, that which once seemed impossible became a photograph on a chalkboard. So perhaps one day, we'll find traces, subtle signatures in the cosmic microwave background, or patterns in gravitational waves that hint at the fingerprints of a parent universe imprinted upon our own. Until then, the question itself fuels us. It pushes our instruments, our mathematics, and our imagination further than ever before. Because here's the truth. The frontier of science isn't just a place where we collect facts. It's where we confront the edges of our understanding, and by doing so, redefine what it means to know something. That's the beauty of it. Black holes don't just warp space, they warp meaning. They challenge us to rethink the relationship between creation and destruction, between being and non-being. They show us that the line between the two is not as solid as we once thought. When a star dies, it gives birth to something new. When a black hole evaporates, It returns its energy to the cosmos. Even entropy, the gradual drift toward disorder, isn't just decay. It's the mechanism by which the universe creates diversity, movement, and life. In that sense, destruction and creation are not opposites. They're dance partners. One step backward for every step forward. One implosion for every explosion. One black hole for every Big Bang. And so, we arrive at an idea that sounds almost heretical, that black holes, these monstrous destroyers of worlds, might also be the universe's way of renewing itself. But that paradox, if you think about it, is not foreign to us at all. It's written in the structure of life itself. Every cell in your body was born from another that had to die. Every civilization that ever rose did so upon the ruins of one that fell. Every idea that changes the world begins by destroying an old assumption. Creation is not a gentle act. It's violent, it's disruptive, and it's necessary. The same universe that annihilates entire galaxies also gives birth to consciousness capable of writing poetry about it. So perhaps the cosmos isn't cruel, it's honest. It teaches us that growth requires collapse, that endings are preludes, that even in the blackest void, there is potential waiting to unfold. You see, black holes are not just out there in the distant sky. They are metaphors for what happens inside us. Every human being carries their own singularity moments of such immense emotional gravity that they warp the flow of their own time. Loss, love, trauma, revelation, each of these events pulls everything around it into a gravitational orbit of meaning. You can't escape them, you can't outrun them, you can only learn to understand them. And just like the cosmic black holes, those moments can crush you or create you. They can erase everything you thought you were, or they can give birth to someone entirely new. In that sense, every life is a universe in miniature, collapsing and expanding in cycles of experience. Now, think of the human mind as its own space-time fabric, shaped by memories, curved by emotion. When too much pain collapses into one point, the psyche folds in on itself. It becomes a psychological singularity. But if we learn to decode it, to observe the event horizon of our own despair without falling in something, remarkable happens. We transform. We become the observers of our own gravity. We turn self-destruction into self-understanding. That's what black holes teach us, in their cold, unfeeling way, that even in the deepest collapse, information is not lost. Meaning is not lost. Everything you've ever experienced, even the parts you wish to forget, remains encoded in the universe that is you. And one day, that information might radiate back out as empathy, as wisdom, as light. When Stephen Hawking discovered that black holes emit radiation, he wasn't just solving a physics puzzle. He was describing the cosmic process of healing. Even darkness gives something back. Even loss emits a faint glow of remembrance. Let's return now to the cosmic stage. Imagine a universe as a vast forest of galaxies, each harboring billions of stars. Some of those stars live brief, furious lives, burning bright, dying young. Others endure, steady and dim, for trillions of years. And scattered among them are the black holes, gravitational seas left behind by supernovas. Each one is a point of infinite potential, a kind of cosmic recycling center. Matter falls in, energy transforms, entropy increases, and yet the universe as a whole continues to evolve. Through this endless cycle of collapse and renewal, the cosmos keeps itself alive. Now, ask yourself this: if the universe can evolve, if it can learn from its own physics, what does that say about us? We are, after all, part of this same cosmic system. We are the stardust that learn to ask questions. We are the atoms of long-dead stars now organized into the consciousness capable of reflecting on black holes. The universe isn't just out there, it's in here. Your neurons fire through chemical reactions governed by the same laws that guide the stars. Your thoughts, your loves, your fears, they're made of the same fundamental particles that once lived in the heart of a sundae. The hydrogen that fuels your cells is the same hydrogen that fuels the stars. In that sense, when you think, when you wonder, when you love, you are the universe performing physics upon itself. And if black holes can give birth to new universes, then perhaps your thoughts, your choices, your acts of compassion are their own form of creation. Each decision ripples outward, curving the fabric of human history, altering the gravitational flow of civilization. You are not a spectator in this cosmos. You are an active participant in its unfolding. It's easy to feel small when staring into the infinite. But think about this. The entire observable universe, 2 trillion galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars, fits into the field of vision of your mind. Your consciousness contains multitudes of worlds. So who really is larger? Perhaps scale isn't measured in meters or parsecs. Perhaps it's measured in awareness. A black hole may curve space-time, but a mind curves possibility. A civilization can bend the trajectory of a planet. And an idea, a single luminous thought, can outlive entire galaxies. We often imagine the universe as something that happens to us. But what if we are something that happens to the universe? A brief, conscious shimmer through which it witnesses its own grandeur. In that sense, every act of curiosity, every experiment, every telescope we build is not merely human ambition. It's cosmic self-awareness expanding through us. We are the instruments by which the universe measures itself. And maybe, just maybe, through us, it learns to love itself. If black holes are the universe's engines of rebirth, then civilization itself might be humanity's experiment in the same principle. From the first spark of fire to the glow of the smartphone screen, we've spent millennia learning how to turn collapse into creation. Every breakthrough we've ever made came from something that first fell apart. A failed crop-inspired agriculture. A fallen empire-inspired democracy. A broken atom gave birth to both annihilation and illumination. Our technology, in many ways, mirrors the physics of black holes. Think of it. We compress vast amounts of information into smaller and smaller spaces. Entire libraries now fit on the tip of a silicon wafer. We bend time with our algorithms, stretch reality with our simulations, and live in a digital horizon where the distinction between presence and absence grows thin. We are, perhaps unconsciously, recreating the universe's deepest mysteries in our own inventions. But there's a warning embedded in that pattern, because with every compression of power comes the temptation to lose sight of what we're creating. Just as light cannot escape a black hole's pull, sometimes empathy cannot escape the gravity of our ambition. We risk becoming engineers of singularities we do not understand. When we build machines that learn faster than we can teach them, or technologies that alter the climate of an entire planet, we stand at our own event horizon. The question is, will we fall inward or emerge wiser on the other side? Physics teaches us that information is never truly lost. So too, the lessons of our failures remain encoded in the history of our species. If we can learn to read that data to understand where our gravity pulls too hard, we might just evolve into something greater than we've ever been. Because what makes us remarkable isn't our intelligence alone, it's our capacity for reflection. A black hole consumes, but we can choose to observe. We can choose to ask, what does this power mean? What responsibility comes with understanding the fabric of reality? Think about the first humans who looked up at the stars. They didn't have telescopes, equations, or satellites. They had wonder. They saw patterns where others saw chaos. They told stories of gods and monsters, not to explain the heavens away, but to give them meaning. And in that act, they began something extraordinary. They transformed fear into curiosity. That's the true beginning of science, not in the laboratories or the equations, but in that shift of the human mind from worshiping mystery to exploring it. Black holes represent the frontier of that same journey. They are the modern myth, our cosmic dragons. We don't slay them with swords, we study them with mathematics. We don't fear their darkness. We map its edges with radio telescopes orbiting Earth. We are doing what life has always done, evolving by confronting the unknown. So, when you look at an image of a black hole, don't just see the distant glow of another galaxy. See the story of humanity's ascent. That photograph is proof that curiosity can overcome the gravity of ignorance. It's not merely a picture of space-time, it's a portrait of who we are becoming. The universe has a peculiar habit of rewarding curiosity with paradox. Every time we answer a question, the cosmos replies with 10 more. It's as if reality itself wants to remain mysterious, to keep us searching. And maybe that's the point. If we ever reach the end of understanding, if we could explain everything, predict everything, know everything, would the universe still be beautiful? Or is its beauty precisely in the tension between what is known and what is unknowable? Even black holes, for all their mathematical precision, remain deeply poetic. They are the punctuation marks of existence, where sentences of matter and energy end, only to begin again in some unseen story. When I stand beneath a night sky, I can't help but feel that same rhythm. The light from those stars left its source before humans learned to write, and yet it arrives tonight, gently striking the back of your eye, triggering a cascade of biological reactions that translate into wonder. You are literally made to be astonished by the cosmos. That, I think, is the universe's greatest achievement. Not galaxies or gravity or time, but the emergence of beings capable of feeling awe. But awe by itself is not enough. We must pair wonder with responsibility. Because knowledge without ethics becomes a singularity of its own, collapsing inward until it devours meaning. We've seen it before. The same science that maps the stars can also build the bomb. The same curiosity that cures disease can also exploit life for profit. The difference lies in intention. Are we exploring to understand or to control? Are we building tools to uplift or to dominate? In cosmic terms, humanity is young, barely out of its planetary cradle. We've just learned to walk on other worlds, to see galaxies as they were billions of years ago, and yet we still struggle to treat one another with the same care we offer our machines. That imbalance is unsustainable. Because if black holes can teach us anything, it's that too much gravity in one place destabilizes everything around it. Power, like matter, must be evenly distributed if the fabric is to hold. So the future depends on what kind of force we wish to be in the universe. Will we become creators, like the black holes birthing new worlds, or will we collapse into the weight of our own ignorance? It's not a question for the distant future. It's the question of now. Every act of learning, every moment of kindness, every conversation that expands understanding, these are the microcosmic acts of cosmic creation. Each one stretches the fabric of possibility a little farther. And maybe, someday, the civilizations that come after us, whether born of our atoms or our algorithms, will look back and see this moment as our own Big Bang. The instant when we learn that creation doesn't begin with power. It begins with awareness. What if the next great frontier isn't out there, among the stars, but in here within the universe that's aware of itself? We tend to think of the cosmos as a four-dimensional tapestry, 3 of space, 1 of time. But there may be another layer, not defined by coordinates or equations, a 5th dimension that doesn't curve space, but consciousness. It's the dimension of awareness, because the moment the universe became capable of reflecting on itself through you, through me, through any mind, capable of wonder, a new kind of expansion began. Not of galaxies, but of meaning. The first expansion was physical, the Big Bang. The second was chemical, the birth of stars and elements. The third was biological, life emerging from stardust. But the fourth and perhaps most mysterious is psychological, the expansion of awareness. Every time a child looks up at the night sky and asks why, the universe grows. Every time you feel awe, empathy, curiosity, that is space-time, discovering itself in a new way. And maybe that's the secret thread connecting black holes to consciousness, because both reveal that even in the densest darkness, something new can emerge. Just as a black hole might birth a new universe, awareness can birth new realities, new ways of seeing, new ways of being, new possibilities that never existed before. We tend to underestimate the gravity of consciousness, but think about it. Every idea that has ever changed the world, democracy, equality, love, began as an invisible phenomenon inside a human mind. You can't weigh it or measure it, yet its influence curves history as surely as gravity curves space-time. That's what awareness does. It bends the trajectory of the possible. When we look at a black hole, we see finality, an end, a singularity. But when we look at ourselves, we should see continuity, the unfolding story of a universe that refuses to stop creating. Maybe awareness is the universe's way of escaping its own event horizon, a means of transmitting information across the boundary between matter and meaning. And if that's true, then the fate of the cosmos is not just a physical question. It's an ethical one, because the laws of physics are neutral. They don't care what you do with energy or power or knowledge. They simply describe what happens when you use them. But awareness carries choice, and choice carries responsibility. That's the real difference between a black hole and a human being. A black hole acts according to gravity. You act according to conscience. The universe gave you the rarest of gifts, the ability to know that you exist, the ability to wonder why, the ability to choose what kind of force you will be in this vast equation. Will you be the kind that collapses inward, consuming everything for yourself until nothing escapes? Or will you be the kind that radiates, that transforms even darkness into light? Some say humanity is insignificant in the cosmic scale, but that's only true if you measure significance in kilometers. If you measure it in consciousness, in the ability to perceive, to feel, to create, then we are the cosmos at its most extraordinary. Consider this. The light from a distant star has traveled billions of years to reach you. It has passed through interstellar dust, curved around galaxies, and yet it arrives precisely in the back of your eye, where it's transformed into an electrical signal that becomes meaning, then emotion, then inspiration. The universe spends eons sculpting stars, and in the fraction of a second it takes for you to feel awe, all that effort finds purpose. That's not small, that's sacred. You are the consciousness of the cosmos made local, a brief intersection of matter and meaning. And maybe, just maybe, that's the fifth dimension. Awareness bending reality toward understanding. Now imagine a civilization that truly embraces that. A species that sees itself not as separate from the universe, but as a continuation of it. A civilization that treats curiosity as a moral act, science as empathy in practice, and progress as the art of minimizing suffering across the cosmos. That civilization wouldn't wage wars over borders, because it would know that borders are imaginary lines drawn on a planet that itself is moving 30 kilometers per second through space. It wouldn't treat resources as possessions, because it would understand that energy and matter flow endlessly, and the only true scarcity is awareness. It wouldn't fear difference, because it would recognize that variation is the mechanism by which the universe creates beauty. That civilization could seed life beyond Earth, not as conquerors, but as gardeners of the cosmos, spreading consciousness, cultivating awareness wherever conditions allow. And when they look back at their homeworld, that pale blue dot suspended in the black ocean of infinity, they would understand that what makes it precious isn't the land or the water or even the life upon it, but the awareness that allows the universe to know that beauty exists at all. We are not there yet, but we could be We stand at a threshold, our own event horizon. Our technologies are immense, our reach expanding, but our wisdom still catching up. If we cross this horizon blindly, driven by greed or fear, we may fall inward, collapsing into a civilization-sized black hole where meaning cannot escape. But if we cross it with awareness, with curiosity tempered by compassion, we might create something extraordinary. A universe within a universe. A future born not from power, but from understanding. That's what black holes whisper to us across the void. That endings and beginnings are the same act seen from opposite sides. That even in darkness, creation is possible. That the universe is not finished, because we are still thinking. When the first human left the surface of Earth, the universe crossed a threshold it had never crossed before. For the first time, a fragment of the cosmos looked back upon itself from beyond its birthplace. The atoms that once burned in forgotten stars had assembled into a being who could step into space, turn around, and see the planet that made him. That photograph, Earth, rising above the gray horizon of the moon, is perhaps the most profound image ever taken. It shows us what every religion, every philosophy, every science has tried to say in different languages. We are all part of the same story. The same thin line of atmosphere protects everyone you have ever loved. The same blue oceans feed us all. The same fragile sphere drifts through the same darkness. That image transformed us. It reminded us that exploration is not just about reaching farther. It's about seeing ourselves more clearly. When we reached the moon, we proved that imagination could overcome gravity. But what we do next will prove whether compassion can overcome inertia, because the next giant leap is not measured in kilometers. It's measured in wisdom. If black holes are the universe's engines of creation, then curiosity is ours. Every launch, every experiment, every equation scribbled in chalk is humanity's way of keeping the cosmic story alive. The space race was never really about flags or politics. It was about proving that we are capable of becoming a species that looks outward, not just inward. And yet, even as we reached for the stars, we discovered something humbling. The farther we looked, the more precious our small world became. From 1 million miles away, there are no borders. From 1 billion miles, there are no nations. From a light year, there are no us and them. There is only home. The next age of exploration will not be defined by competition, but by cooperation. We will not go to Mars because we are at war with each other. We will go because we have finally learned what it means to belong to something larger. Each new world we visit will ask us the same question the universe has been whispering since the dawn of time. Now that you can create, will you also care? Because creation without care is just expansion. And expansion without meaning is just noise. The universe does not need more explosions. It needs more understanding. It does not need more conquerors. It needs more caretakers. We are capable of being those caretakers. Every technology we build can be a telescope or a weapon, a bridge or a wall. The difference is not in the metal or the code. It is in the mind that wields it. When you look at a black hole, you see energy and information locked in a dance that seems eternal. When you look at humanity, you see the same. Creativity and destruction in constant tension. Our task is to learn from the cosmos and find balance to radiate more than we consume. One day, perhaps, our descendants will travel beyond the boundaries of this galaxy. They may carry within them the stories of the world that birthed them, stories of light and shadow, of triumph and failure. They will know that life began in a small corner of space where conditions were just right for awareness to arise. And they will understand that their journey, their curiosity, their compassion are all continuations of the same cosmic process that forged the first stars. When they stand on some distant shore beneath an alien sky, they may wonder, as we do now, if this universe is the only one. Maybe they will discover that beyond every black hole, there lies another cosmos, another chance. Maybe they will find the remnants of their ancestors written in the radiation that still hums through space. Maybe they will learn that awareness itself is the thread connecting all realities, the universe's way of ensuring that no active understanding is ever lost. If that day comes, they will look back at us and know that we were the generation that stood at the turning point, the moment when the universe learned to question itself, the moment when it decided whether intelligence would be its greatest gift or its greatest mistake. And so, as we look up tonight, let us remember, the stars are not just lights in the sky. They are reminders of what we are made of and what we are destined to become. Each one is a lesson in patience, in persistence, in transformation. Each one is a promise that even darkness can ignite into brilliance. We are the children of that brilliance. We are the atoms that refuse to stay silent. We are the way the universe learns, dreams, and creates. So when you think about black holes, don't just think about destruction. Think about rebirth. Think about what it means to turn collapse into creation, both out there in the cosmos and in here, within yourself. Because maybe the real question isn't what happens inside a black hole. Maybe the question is what happens inside us when we realize that the universe has given us the power to create new ones. There's a moment right after a rocket leaves the pad when the camera turns back and the whole world fits inside one frame. You can see the curve of the horizon, the thin halo of atmosphere, the sunrise that spills across continents. That image isn't just beautiful, it's instructive. It reminds us that everything we've ever built, destroyed, loved, or lost happens on that small sphere wrapped in blue. It's a single data point in an infinite universe, yet it holds the only awareness we know exists. We often talk about saving the planet, but that phrase is slightly wrong. The planet will be fine. It's survived asteroid impacts, magnetic reversals, and ice ages. What we're really trying to save is the delicate equilibrium that allows consciousness to flourish here, the thin layer of life that thinks, feels, and wonders. And that means the same physics that shapes galaxies also shapes our responsibilities. The law of conservation reminds us, nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. Energy moves from one form to another, information from one mind to another. Kindness obeys that same law. Compassion, once released, doesn't vanish, it propagates, refracting through people the way starlight bends through interstellar dust. We talk about black holes as regions where nothing escapes, yet every day we build emotional black holes, places where empathy gets trapped by fear, where truth is crushed by pride. To radiate instead of collapse, we have to let understanding leak out, the way Hawking radiation lets energy return to space. Awareness is not meant to be hoarded, it's meant to illuminate. That's why the most radical act any of us can perform in a universe of blind physics is to care consciously, to pause, to think, to choose a course that increases light instead of consuming it. Every gesture, teaching, forgiving, questioning, adds entropy of meaning to a cosmos that would otherwise be silent. When you look at a nebula, what you see is destruction turned to art. The remnants of dead stars becoming the nursery for new ones. When you look at humanity, you can see the same pattern trying to emerge, our mistakes forming the dust from which wisdom might be born. If we can learn that lesson, if we can treat failure not as the end, but as the raw material for new understanding, then we will have taken our first step beyond the event horizon of ignorance. When a star collapses, it doesn't ask whether it deserves to shine again. The laws of physics simply turn its death into a beginning. We, on the other hand, are gifted with the question of choice. We can decide what kind of beginning follows our collapses. The coming century will test that ability more than any before. We can alter the chemistry of the atmosphere, seed other planets, teach machines to think, and even edit the code of life itself. Each of those powers is a form of gravity. It can hold a world together or crush it. If awareness is the fifth dimension, then ethics is its geometry. It's how consciousness curves action through time. Every law we write, every technology we launch, every child we teach, bends that geometry one way or another. The equations of the future are being written now, not on chalkboards, but in choices. And the smallest ones matter most. A scientist deciding to share data instead of hoarding it, a teacher choosing to ignite curiosity instead of compliance, a citizen choosing truth over convenience. Each decision releases a quantum of light into the cultural fabric, small but cumulative, until an entire civilization begins to glow. That is how a species radiates. History shows us that empires fall the way stars do when they can no longer fuse compassion at their cores. When power outweighs empathy, collapse is inevitable. But collapse, as the universe reminds us, is not the end, it's the condition for rebirth. If we accept that, then our task becomes clear: to build systems that convert failure into learning, scarcity into cooperation, fear into understanding. To become, collectively, the kind of force that makes creation sustainable. And we do that not by abandoning science or technology, but by giving them purpose. Space exploration is not an escape from Earth. It's a mirror held up to it. The farther we travel, the more clearly we see the fragility of home. The deeper we study the universe, the more urgently we must protect the only laboratory in which awareness has bloomed. That ultimately is what the universe seems to ask of us. Do with intention what it does by accident. Transform energy into meaning. Turn matter into care. There will come a night when the last photon from our sun drifts into the dark, long after the oceans have boiled away and the mountains have eroded. A trace of that light will still be moving quiet, constant, unhurried. Maybe it will cross the empty gulf and brush the skin of another world. Maybe on that world, some descendant of life ours or another's will catch it and know that once, in a small corner of the Milky Way, consciousness burned bright. That is the legacy we're writing now. Not monuments or empires, but signals. Every act of understanding, every kindness, every discovery is a pulse of light that outlives its source. The universe records it all. Nothing meaningful is wasted. So when you stand beneath the night sky, don't just see the past, you're looking at possibility. Those pinpoints are invitations. They ask quietly, what will you add to the light? Because the same physics that lets a star shine allows a thought to travel. The same entropy that drives collapse also drives change. And the same awareness that can destroy a world can save it. We are not passengers of the cosmos. We are participants in its evolution. Each generation inherits a fragment of the universe's unfinished story. And each decides how much farther the light will travel. We can let fear pull us inward, or we can radiate outward, transforming even our mistakes into illumination for whoever comes next. So let this be the closing equation of our time. Curiosity plus compassion equals continuation. If black holes are where matter ends and possibility begins, then humanity is the event horizon of meaning. Through us, the universe becomes aware of itself, and through that awareness, it creates, the voice softens now, almost a whisper. Somewhere in the heart of a dying star, another universe is being born. And somewhere in the mind of a living human, a new idea is forming. Both are acts of creation. Both are proof that the cosmos is not finished. So look up. Remember that you are made of the same atoms that learned to dream. Remember that awareness itself is the universe's way of escaping its own darkness. And remember that every time you choose to understand, to forgive, to wonder, you bend reality a little closer to grace. That is how black holes create new universes. That is how we do too. And so, when the lights of our cities dim and the hum of the world grows quiet, remember this: you are a brief, brilliant intersection of space, time, and awareness. The universe has taken 13+ billion years to arrive at the single, unrepeatable moment that is you. Use it well. Ask questions that stretch the horizon of understanding. Build things that outlast fear. Love in ways that widen the circle of what is possible. Because in the end, the universe doesn't judge us by how much we owned or how far we traveled, but by how much light we added before we were gone. If there is another cosmos beyond a black hole, perhaps it begins not with an explosion of matter, but with a single, deliberate act of awareness, someone, somewhere, deciding to see instead of turning away. That choice, the choice to see, to care, to create, is how universes are born. So tonight, look up. Let the stars remind you that even the darkest things in the universe can give rise to light, and that somewhere in that vast, silent expanse, the cosmos is still becoming through you.